I need to write this down because what happened over the past 6 months completely shattered my understanding of what family means and what kind of compromises you're supposed to make for love. I'm Callum, 28, and I work as a software engineer for a mid-sized tech company. I grew up in a pretty traditional household. Both parents still married after 35 years, Sunday dinners, the whole thing. They taught me that honesty matters, that you keep your word, and that cheating on someone you claim to love is one of the lowest things you can do. I thought those were universal values. Turns out they're not. I met Lyra at a tech conference about 2 years ago. She worked in marketing for a pharmaceutical company. Had this energy that just drew people in. We clicked immediately. She was smart, ambitious, had this quick wit that kept me on my toes. 6 months in, I knew I wanted to marry her. Her family was different from mine. Wealthier for one thing. Her father, Arthur Vance, owned a commercial real estate development company, multiple properties across 3 states. The kind of money that meant Lyra grew up with things I didn't. Private schools, European vacations, a trust fund she never talked about but definitely had. I met her parents about 8 months into our relationship. Her mother, Martha, was polite but distant. The kind of woman who smiled with her mouth but not her eyes. Arthur, though, he was all warmth. Handshake that nearly crushed my hand. Big laugh. Asking me about my work, my family, my intentions with his daughter. I like this one. He told Lyra that first dinner. He's got that steady quality. Not flashy, but solid. That's what you need. I should have questioned what he meant by that. Should have wondered why not flashy was a compliment from a guy who drove a different luxury car every week. We got engaged after a year and a half. I proposed on a hiking trip. Nothing extravagant, just us in the mountains and a ring I'd saved for. Lyra cried, said yes. Called her parents immediately. Arthur insisted we come visit for a long weekend to celebrate properly. Family tradition, he said. We need to welcome you in the right way. That weekend changed everything. We drove up to their place on a Friday afternoon. They had this massive house in the suburbs, 6 bedrooms, pool, the works. Martha had prepared this elaborate dinner, kept refilling my wine glass, asking questions about the wedding plans. After dinner, Arthur pulled me aside to his study. Florida's bookshelves, leather furniture, the kind of room designed to intimidate. Callum, I want to do something special with you. Father-son bonding, you know. I'm taking you hunting this weekend. Just us men. It's important. I'd never been hunting in my life, but I didn't want to seem ungrateful. Sure. Sounds great. Perfect. We leave at dawn. It's a bit of a drive, but I have a spot I like. You'll love it. Lyra seemed excited when I told her. Dad never takes anyone hunting. He must really like you. Saturday morning, we loaded into Arthur's Range Rover. Top-of-the-line custom interior. Probably cost more than my annual salary, but no hunting gear, no rifles, no equipment, just 2 overnight bags. Aren't we forgetting the guns? I asked. Arthur laughed. We'll get everything we need when we get there. I keep gear at the place. We drove for about 3 hours talking business, sports, surface-level guy stuff. He was charming. Made me feel like I was already part of the family. Kept calling me son, which should have felt premature, but somehow didn't. We pulled up to what I thought would be a hunting lodge. It wasn't. It was a private club, discreet sign, valet parking, the kind of place where you need to know someone to even know it exists. This is where we're hunting, I asked in a manner of speaking. Arthur clapped me on the shoulder. Come on, let me show you how real men relax. The inside was all dark wood and leather, ambient lighting, quiet music, and women. Beautiful women in cocktail dresses, circulating with drinks, laughing with men in expensive suits. My stomach dropped. Arthur, what is this place? This is where successful men come to decompress. No judgment, total discretion, everything you could want. He gestured to a woman who was walking by. This is Callum. He's about to join the family. Make him feel welcome.
She smiled at me.
Professional practiced. Nice to meet you, Callum. Can I get you a drink? I looked at Arthur. He was watching me with this expression, not quite smiling, but satisfied like he was testing me. No thank you, I told her. Then to Arthur, I think there's been a misunderstanding. I'm engaged to your daughter. I'm not interested in whatever this is. Arthur's expression didn't change.
Callum, sit down.
Let me explain something to you. We sat in a corner booth. He ordered scotch for both of us. I didn't touch mine. You're young, he started. You have these idealistic notions about marriage, fidelity, honesty, all that fairy tale, and that's fine. That's what you tell your wife. That's what keeps the peace at home. But this, he gestured around the room. This is how you keep a marriage strong. You have an outlet. You never bring it home. Everyone's happy. I'm not doing this. You're misunderstanding me. I'm not asking you to do anything tonight. I'm showing you what's available, what's acceptable. I've been married to Martha for 30 years. You think that happens by accident? You think I can maintain a happy household without having a place to let off steam? I think you maintain a household where your wife probably knows and has decided to accept it because she likes the lifestyle. He actually smiled at that. See, you're smarter than you look. Martha understands how the world works, and Lyra will too once you're married. This is part of the package, Callum. The money, the connections, the lifestyle. It comes with certain flexibilities. I stood up. I need to leave.
Sit down.
No, I'm calling an Uber. I'll get a hotel for the night and drive back in the morning. His face hardened. You're embarrassing me. I brought you here as a gesture of trust to include you in something private, and you're acting like some self-righteous child. I'm acting like someone who doesn't cheat on the person I'm supposed to love. I left, got an Uber to a Holiday Inn 40 minutes away. Lyra called me 6 times before I answered. What the hell, Callum?
Dad just called me.
Said you stormed out and insulted him. Lyra, he took me to some kind of private club with women. He was trying to set me up with someone. Silence. Lyra, he was trying to help you relax. He knows wedding planning is stressful. He was just trying to be nice. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. He was trying to get me to cheat on you. That's not God, Callum. You're being dramatic. Dad's old school. He was probably just showing you around, introducing you to his business associates. You completely misread the situation and made him look bad. I didn't misread anything. He literally said, "This is where men go to let off steam while staying married." You're twisting his words. Look, can you just apologize when you get back? He's really hurt that you rejected his attempt to bond with you. I sat on that hotel bed for an hour after we hung up, trying to process what had just happened. The woman I loved was defending her father's attempt to corrupt me, was asking me to apologize for having boundaries. I should have ended it right there, but I loved her, and I thought I could make her see how twisted this was. After that weekend, Arthur didn't give up. If anything, he doubled down. A week later, a box arrived at my apartment. Inside was a Rolex, not some entry-level model, a Submariner. Probably 20 grand. The note said, "For my future son-in-law." No hard feelings about the trip. Arthur, I called him. I can't accept this.
Of course you can.
It's a gift. Family takes care of family. Arthur, I appreciate the gesture, but this is too much. Nonsense. Wear it in good health. I'll see you at Sunday dinner. I tried to return it. He refused to take it back. Lyra got annoyed when I suggested we send it back. Why are you making this weird? He's trying to welcome you into the family. Just say thank you. This isn't about saying thank you. This is about him trying to buy my compliance. Compliance with what? Having a relationship with your future father-in-law? God, Callum, not everything is some conspiracy. The gifts kept coming. Concert tickets, a suit from his tailor. Then 3 months before the wedding, the big one, a car, a Tesla, just showed up in my parking spot one day with a bow on it. A keys in my mailbox with another note. Every successful man needs a car that reflects his status. Consider it an early wedding present. I drove it back to his office that afternoon. You can't keep doing this, I told him. Why not? I have the money. You could use the upgrade. What's the problem? The problem is I didn't earn this. The problem is it feels like you're trying to create a debt I can never repay. He leaned back in his chair, studying me. You're a stubborn one. I like that actually. But let me give you some advice, son. In this world, you don't refuse opportunities when they're handed to you. You take them. You say thank you. And you remember who is generous when it matters. I don't need your generosity. I have my own career, my own money, software engineer salary versus what I could set you up with.
Come on, Callum.
Don't be stupid. Marry my daughter. Work with me on some development deals, and in 5 years, you'll have more money than you know what to do with. I don't want to work with you. Not yet, but you will. They all do eventually. I left the Tesla in his parking lot and took an Uber home. Lyra was furious. You embarrassed my father again. He was trying to do something nice, and you threw it back in his face. He's trying to control me. He's trying to help you. Why can't you see that? Because accepting his help comes with strings. Strings I'm not willing to accept. We fought for hours that night. She accused me of being ungrateful, of having a chip on my shoulder about her family's wealth, of deliberately sabotaging her relationship with her father. I slept on the couch. 2 weeks later, I was at Lyra's apartment when her phone buzzed on the counter. She was in the shower. I wasn't trying to snoop, but the preview lit up the screen. It was from Arthur. The fiancé seems pretty resistant. Don't worry, I'll make him understand how things work. If he doesn't come around, I'll reconsider the wedding contribution. You know the deal. My hands went cold. I unlocked her phone. We'd shared passwords. Had nothing to hide. Or so I thought. The message thread went back months. Dozens of messages. I scrolled up. Arthur, your boy turned down the club invite. He's more stubborn than I thought. Lyra, give him time. He just needs to adjust. He grew up differently. Arthur, time is one thing. Disrespect is another. He needs to understand that being part of this family means following certain traditions. Lyra, I'm working on it. Dad.
He'll come around.
He just needs to see the benefits. Further up, Arthur. I'm setting aside $200K for the wedding, but only if he starts cooperating. I'm not investing in someone who's going to be difficult. Lyra, I understand. I'll handle him. Just be patient. I felt sick. Not just at the content, but at the tone. The way she talked about me, like I was some project to manage, some problem to solve. The shower turned off. I put the phone back down. Lyra came out in a towel, smiling. Want to order dinner? I saw the texts, I said quietly. Her face went white.
What?
From your dad. The ones about making me understand how things work. About cutting the wedding money if I don't cooperate. She grabbed her phone, checking what I'd seen. Then she took a breath, composed herself. Callum, it's not what it looks like. What is it then? Dad just wants to make sure you're serious about me, about us. He's protective, he's manipulative, and you're helping him. I'm trying to bridge the gap between the man I love and my family. Is that so wrong? When the bridge requires me to compromise my values.
Yes.
She sat down on the bed, and I saw something shift in her expression. Not quite guilt, but calculation. What do you want from me, Callum? You want me to choose between you and my father? I want you to recognize that what your father is doing is wrong. He's trying to prepare you for the real world, for how successful men actually live. Successful men cheat on their wives. Not all of them, but some do. And their wives understand that it doesn't mean anything. It's just how things are. That's exactly the kind of that keeps people trapped in miserable marriages. My parents aren't miserable. They have a great life. Your mom is miserable. You just can't see it because she's too afraid of losing the lifestyle to admit it. Lyra's eyes flashed. Don't talk about my mother like you know her. I know enough. I know she warned you to make sure your father keeps paying for everything, because that's the only power she has in that marriage. The silence that followed told me I was right. 3 weeks before the wedding, Arthur invited me to another camping trip.
Called me directly this time.
I think we got off on the wrong foot last time. Let me make it up to you. Real camping this time, I promise. Just nature, fishing, guy talk, no clubs, no games. I'm busy that weekend. I wasn't asking Callum. I'm telling you this is important. Then you can consider this me telling you, I'm not going. He hung up on me. That night, Lyra came over. She looked exhausted, like she'd been crying. We need to talk about the wedding.
Okay.
My dad is withdrawing his financial support. Says he can't invest in a marriage where the groom won't even make an effort to bond with him. So, let him withdraw it. We'll have a smaller wedding. We don't need his money. Callum, we've already put down deposits, booked the venue, the catering, everything. We're talking about losing over $100,000 in deposits alone. Then we'll figure it out. Take out a loan if we have to. I'm not going on another trip with your father, so he can try to corrupt me again. Corrupt you? She laughed, but it was bitter. You sound insane. He's trying to build a relationship with you by taking me to sex clubs and sending me cars I didn't ask for. By showing you the world he lives in, by trying to share his success with you. And you're too self-righteous to accept it. I'm too self-righteous to accept cheating as a lifestyle choice. Then maybe we shouldn't get married. The words hung in the air between us.
What?
If you can't integrate with my family, if you can't at least try to understand how things work in my world, then maybe we're not compatible. I'm not asking you to abandon your family. I'm asking you to recognize that what your father does, what he's asking me to accept is wrong. It's not wrong. It's just different. And if you can't be flexible enough to see that, then I don't know if this is going to work. I stared at her. This woman I'd planned to spend my life with. And I saw a stranger. When did you know? I asked quietly. Know what? About your father's affairs, about the women, the clubs, all of it. She looked away. Lyra, since I was 16. Her voice was barely a whisper. I figured it out when I saw him with someone at a restaurant. Confronted him. He explained everything. How it didn't mean anything. How it was just business. How it actually made him a better husband because he wasn't bringing that energy home to Mom. And you believed him. I understood him. And when I got older, I saw how it worked. Mom got to live the life she wanted. Dad got his freedom. Everyone was happy. Was your mom happy? She had everything she needed. That's not the same thing. Lyra stood up. You know what your problem is, Callum? You think your way is the only right way? You think because your parents have some quaint little marriage in the suburbs that everyone should live like that. But some of us want more. Some of us understand that real relationships require compromise. Compromise or complicity. Get out. Lyra, get out of my apartment. I need to think about whether I can marry someone who sees my family as the enemy. I left. Drove around for hours trying to make sense of what had just happened. The woman I loved had just told me she'd known her father was a serial cheater since she was a teenager and had decided that was acceptable. Had decided to model her future marriage on the same toxic foundation, and she was asking me to accept it or leave. The next morning I went to see my parents, told them everything. My dad listened without interrupting, and when I finished, he just looked at me. Son, do you love her enough to become someone you're not? I don't want to become what her father is. Then you already have your answer. 2 days later, I got a text from Lyra's mom.
Can we meet?
I need to talk to you, please. It's important. We met at a coffee shop near her house. Martha looked older than I remembered. More fragile. Callum, I need to tell you something about Arthur, about our marriage. Martha, you don't have to. Yes, I do. Because if I don't, you might make the same mistake I did. She took a breath. Arthur cheated on me 3 months after our wedding. I found out because he gave me an STD. He apologized, said it would never happen again. It happened again 6 months later. I didn't know what to say. By the time Lyra was born, I'd stopped counting, stopped caring really because Arthur made it clear. I could accept it and keep the lifestyle, or I could leave and have nothing. I chose the lifestyle, and I taught my daughter to do the same. Lyra said you were happy. Lyra believes what she needs to believe to justify the same choice I made. But I'm not happy, Callum. I haven't been happy in 25 years. And I don't want my daughter to wake up at 50 years old and realize she wasted her life enabling a man who doesn't respect her. What are you asking me to do? I'm asking you to walk away, because if you marry her, one of 2 things will happen. Either she'll break you down until you become another Arthur, or she'll resent you forever for not being willing to. Either way, you'll both be miserable. She knows, doesn't she, about you and her father, about all of it? Martha nodded, tears streaming down her face. She knows. She's known for years, and she's helped him hide it from people who might judge. Helped him maintain his image. In exchange, he funds her lifestyle. Takes her on trips I'm not invited to. Buys her things, makes her feel special. The pieces clicked into place. The luxury vacations Lyra took with just her dad. The expensive gifts that showed up at random times. The way she'd defend Arthur no matter what he did. She wasn't a victim of her father's manipulation. She was a willing participant. I called Lyra that night. I want to have dinner with your family. All of us. Tomorrow night. You're coming around. Hope in her voice. I'm coming to a decision. She took that as agreement. Set it up for the next evening at her parents' house. I brought the engagement ring in my pocket. Dinner was exactly what I expected. Martha was quiet, barely eating. Arthur was holding court, telling stories about his latest development deal, making jokes, playing the successful patriarch. Lyra kept touching my arm, smiling like everything was back to normal. We finished the main course. I waited until Martha cleared the plates. I have something to say. Arthur leaned back, satisfied. Go ahead, son. I'm not your son, and I'm never going to be. I pulled out the ring box and set it on the table. I can't marry Lyra. I can't be part of this family. The room went silent. Lyra stared at the ring. Callum, you told me I needed to integrate to understand how your family works. I do understand. I understand that your father has built his entire life on betrayal, and that you've decided that's acceptable. That you've actively helped him hide it, benefited from it, and now expect me to do the same. You're making a mistake, Arthur said. But he was smiling. That same satisfied smile. You'll never find another woman like Lyra. Never have access to the opportunities one could give you. You're throwing away your best chance at real success. If success means becoming like you, I'll pass. He actually laughed. You self-righteous little you think you're better than me? You make $70,000 a year writing code. I make that in a day. You live in a one-bedroom apartment. I own buildings. You're nobody. And you're going to stay nobody because you're too stupid to take what's offered. At least I'll be nobody with a clear conscience. I stood up to leave. Arthur called after me. You'll regret this. Mark my words. You'll come crawling back in 6 months when you realize what you gave up. I turned back. I won't because I already sent everything. Sent what? The evidence from that first trip, the club, the women, all of it. I took photos, recorded part of your speech about how successful men operate, and I sent it to your 3 biggest business partners, the ones who run the Evangelical Investment Group, the ones whose contracts depend on maintaining a specific family-friendly image. The color drained from Arthur's face. You're lying. Check your email. They've already started pulling out. I got the first response this morning. It was true. I'd spent the past 2 weeks documenting everything, putting together a comprehensive file on Arthur's activities. Sent it anonymously, but with enough detail that his partners couldn't ignore it. The Evangelical Group alone represented 40% of his current projects. They'd already sent notice they were terminating their partnership. Arthur stood up, face red. You little bastard. I'll sue you. I'll destroy you for what? Telling the truth. Go ahead. Discovery should be fun. I'm sure a judge would love to hear all about your private clubs and your secret arrangements. Lyra was crying. How could you do this to my father? To my family? I didn't do anything to your family. I just stopped being complicit in the lie. The rest is on him. Martha was watching me with something I'd never seen from her before. Respect. I left. Blocked Lyra's number. Arthur's number. Deleted all our photos. All our messages. All evidence that I'd almost made the biggest mistake of my life. 3 months later, I transferred to our company's Seattle office. Fresh start, different city. No memories of Lyra or her family. Arthur's business did collapse. Not completely. Guys like him have too many diversified interests to ever fully fail, but enough. The evangelical partners pulled out. Other groups followed. When word spread, his reputation took a hit. He won't recover from. Lyra, from what I heard, through mutual friends, moved back in with her parents. The trust fund wasn't enough to maintain the lifestyle she'd gotten used to without Arthur's full income. She tried reaching out a few times through friends, asking if we could talk. I never responded. Martha filed for divorce. That was the part that surprised me. After 30 years of accepting Arthur's behavior, she finally walked away. She didn't get much. Prenup protected most of his assets, but she got enough. Last I heard, she was living in a modest condo and seemed genuinely happy for the first time in decades. My parents came to visit me in Seattle a month after I moved. We were having dinner when my dad asked the question he'd been holding. Do you regret it ending things with Lyra?
No.
Destroying her father's business?
I thought about it. Really thought about it. No.
He spent his entire life believing there were no consequences for his actions. That his money and connections made him untouchable. Someone needed to show him otherwise. That's a lot of weight to carry. Lighter than carrying a marriage built on lies would have been. My mom reached across the table and squeezed my hand. We're proud of you for knowing what you couldn't compromise on. That's the thing nobody tells you about standing up for your principles. It doesn't feel heroic in the moment. It feels lonely. It feels like you're walking away from everything you thought you wanted. But 6 months later, when I'm building a life I actually respect, when I'm sleeping without compromise, gnawing at my gut, when I can look at myself in the mirror and recognize the person looking back, that's when you realize the price was worth paying. I've started dating again. Casually, nothing serious, but I've noticed something. I can spot the red flags now. The entitled attitudes, the transactional thinking, the people who see relationships as negotiations rather than partnerships. I swipe left on all of them because here's what Arthur and Lyra taught me. Family.